Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the D&T Wrestling Show. I am your host, Daniel, the D and the D&T, joined by my co-host, number one co-host in the world, Tyler, the T and the D&T. Welcome to the show. Tyler, how you doing?
I am amazing, my fine sir. Amazing, my fine sir. Yeah, we had a pretty hectic past 2 days in the wrestling world, so I
Yes,
think we
sir.
should just kind of jump right into it and kind of see
Yeah.
what we did.
What a time to be a
Um,
wrestling fan. Let's lay out what we got for them real quick. We're gonna go ahead
yeah,
and talk about obviously last episode. If you guys happen to join with us or happen to catch us on YouTube already, we did cover WrestleMania Night 1 as well as the SmackDown that followed it. The SmackDown that was previous to that WrestleMania Night
yep.
1. Then today we are going to go ahead and cover WrestleMania Night 2, what happened, what were our predictions, what did we get right and wrong. Then we will go ahead and cover Monday Night Raw from last night, the Monday after WrestleMania. What took place? What are they setting up for us? What storylines are going to unfold, and maybe some other predictions that we also got right about that we can go ahead and go over. But yeah, nice show for y'all. This is quite the 48 hours that have gone on in the wrestling world, and we're here to cover it. So, like Tyler said, let's just go ahead and get right into it. We'll start with WrestleMania Night 1. Tyler, let's get it kicked off.
Yeah, WrestleMania night two. I'll correct you
Sorry,
there.
WrestleMania Night 2, exactly.
Night two, Sunday. What happened first? We had our WWE Women's World Champion Triple Threat match with Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Um, must I say, absolute banger of a match. It was
Absolutely.
top tier. You know, those women, they put on a show. The result of the match, Io Sky is still your reigning champion. Went in as the underdog, came back out with the dub. You know, I love the final spot there uh, um, with Bianca hitting the KOD on Rhea, and then Io hitting the moonsault on top of Bianca, and but messing that up, and then pulling over and pinning Bianca. It was a
Mm.
masterclass piece of a match, and I'm excited to see what you think.
Yeah. No, excellent match. I unfortunately got my prediction wrong here. We already kind of talked about it with our last show, but I went with the whole angle of Naomi and Bianca teaming up, Bianca turning heel. That would influence this match and would cause Bianca to win. Not what happened here at all, but I'm not disappointed either. What we got was amazing. We were both very, very, very right in the sense that Rhea had no business winning this match. There was no point where it really seemed like Rhea was
Yeah,
going to win, and I think we all knew that. But the way that they ended up having it end was awesome. Io does a kind of Jeff Hardy triple threat Clash of the Castle sort of ending, if for the real ones out there, where
oh yeah,
she's kind of strung up on the corner, starts messing around with Rhea, and then gets kind of like left up there, and we're kind of supposed to forget about her. And then it's a couple minutes later that she does hit her finisher to seal the deal and pin Rhea and win the match. So
yeah. I think
honestly, yeah,
too. I think too with this match, we kind of hinted at maybe some possible shenanigans from outside things happening, and I'm actually kind of glad we didn't get any of
yeah,
that.
none of that.
It was just straight clean. That puts Io on top, and obviously we'll talk about kind of what happened on Raw too.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved it. It doesn't make Io look like this puny underdog with these two big powerhouses right beside her. It put her right on that level, if not even above that level. So, yeah, there's a lot of great things to say about this match, and we could probably talk about it for hours on end. But yeah, again, it was a great match, and Io Sky is still our women's world champion.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have much else to add other than go ahead and watch it. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, not the biggest wrestling fan, maybe go watch like a highlights video of it. Just a lot of great spots, a lot of great, well
Oh yeah,
executed moves. A lot of finisher fest kind of things where each woman of the three are involved in some way. Good stuff, good stuff. No, like
yep.
insane over the top spots, but I don't. Again, kind of like we just mentioned with the interferences, it doesn't really need that.
Mm-mm.
Just real quick, Clay J2K in the chat did say, "Hey, this Tyler guy looks familiar. I feel like he was on a podcast I listened to about football or something." Yeah, shout out to what is it? The WDL for life? Is that
The
it?
WDN4L, so Who Dat
WDN
Nation
for
for
yeah,
Life
Who Dat
podcast,
Nation
as run by
for
our
life
friend Clay
podcast. That's right.
J2K. He one of our best friends. He's he's what, on episode 11 now. I just joined
Yeah,
to his podcast, so go check it out. It's definitely a interesting show, especially if you're a Saints fan and just a football fan in
if you're a
general. He
football
knows a
fan,
lot
it's a
about
great
sports
show. I'm not the biggest. I'm
for
not.
sure.
I think it's a little obvious who I'm a fan of, and I listen to the show every time Clay releases it. It's great insight to the Saints, but also just a great insight from a well informed football fan. Let's say that. So
Yeah,
check him out. But yeah, Tyler, I think we're probably good to go to the next match. Io
yeah.
won that. She's
Let's move
still the
on to
champ.
the
Yep.
Let's move on to the next match, which is a Sin City street fight with Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. The winner of that match is obviously Drew McIntyre. Finally, he gets a win after however many months and weeks and just of these roll up pins that he just is so close to winning, but just can't do it. But he also tackles the leaning threat that he had for about a year, maybe even over a year, in Damian Priest always being in something that he's been uh, part of, whether it was the World Heavyweight Championship, whether it was the Royal Rumble, anything. Damian Priest has kind of screwed Drew McIntyre over, and Drew finally gets one leg up on him, and I think ends the feud there. Talk about amazing spots as well. Like you and I talked about it. Like this match had to hit hard. It had to hit hard. It had to, because night one was a stink fest. It's like you guys got to put on. They
A
had
little bit.
technically, if you want to put it together, they had three table spots, but one was with two tables.
That's true.
So yeah, dude, it was a hard hitting smash fest, and I loved it. I loved every second about it. I love Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest is growing on me. Yes, I don't really like his character as much, but his matches are good. You can't deny that his matches are good. If you can make someone like Bad Bunny look good in a match, you're a pretty damn good wrestler. So yeah, what do you think?
Everything you just said, I agree with. You already said it. If you happen to listen to our show where we were doing the predictions, as well as kind of our pre-thoughts of going into night two from the night one episode, we did say, like, look, night one was not the greatest WrestleMania. WrestleMania is 2 nights now. You didn't used to be like that for a long time, but out of all the multi-night WrestleManias, that night one was probably possibly one of the worst. And so we said, I bet you Triple H is in the back telling the mid card guys, you need to bring it. You need to have a good match. And we literally called out this match specifically and said, you cannot have a stinker in the second match. You can't come out and take all the air out of the freaking stadium after a great first match. They listened and they had a great first match. We actually said, I actually think if the first match is that triple threat championship match, that's how you start off WrestleMania. Okay, well, this is how you follow up
For
a
sure.
great starting match.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm
Hell
glad they
yeah.
went with this and not Logan and AJ Styles, especially now knowing that
Yes.
AJ loses. We'll get to that. But this was a great match because I think most of us didn't really care who won. It did deserve and should have been Drew, which is what it was. But I
Mhm.
don't think any of us
Yep.
necessarily cared. The point was to have a fun match that was cool. A lot of cool spots, like you said. We technically had 3 table spots. That was
To
actually
answer that
really cool.
question, to
Yeah.
go off of
So
that, Clay does have an answer. What is a table spot for anybody who's listening out there? A table spot is when, Clay, think of it as Bill's Mafia, where they're jumping off of a truck or something like that and jumping through a table. Anybody that goes through a table is a table spot. So they set up one of those foldable tables, lay them on there, or slam them on there and breaks the table. That's a table spot.
that's it. Yeah, it's nothing crazy, and it can include the announcers tables. That's kind of the big thing there. And
Yeah,
WWE
exactly. That too.
nowadays they do it a lot more, where the table the announcers are sitting at gets kind of cleared off, and then they slam someone through it, and it breaks just the same. So it just adds an extra element of destruction to the way everything looks and feels, and
Yep.
from what wrestlers talk about, it is probably one of the more painful things that can happen to you in a wrestling ring. So
For sure.
it's definitely not easy to do. But anyways, yeah, this match had a lot of that. The coolest spot, obviously, like we already were just talking about it, but the double table spot where much earlier in the match, Drew McIntyre sets up 2 tables outside of the ring, in between the ring and the announcers tables actually, and Damian Priest kind of reads it, gets out of it, doesn't get thrown into it, whatever. Then way later, Damian Priest is trying to do the Undertaker classic move where he walks on the rope, like tight ropes on it while he's holding you, and then he's gonna jump down and club you. And it's just supposed to show like I'm a big dude and I'm balancing on the ropes. That's literally all the move is. Undertaker used to do, and he was famous for it because he was also a giant. So as he's up there on the ropes, like standing on the ropes, so that means he's at this point very high up in the air for a guy as tall as him, and then Drew McIntyre just shoves him off into the tables that were been set up there many minutes ago. So
He just basically stiff arms him
he
and
just
just
shoves
like
him
go.
off. Yeah, he's like, oh, don't forget about the tables, and then he goes through. The crowd goes crazy, gets him back in the ring, sets up a chair. I think he actually also had the chair already set up in the corner. So he
Damian
puts,
Priest set the chair up in the
that's
corner.
right. That's right. Damian
Yeah.
Priest was going to do something with a chair set up in the corner, probably throw Drew's head into or whatever. But what Drew does, sets up Damian Priest's head against the chair and does his signature move, the Claymore, which is really just like a giant kick, like a boot kick.
Yeah.
But
Just a big boot
he's a
to the
big
head,
man,
basically.
so it's a big kick. It probably would hurt in real life if he actually did get a boot to your head kind of thing like that.
Yeah, seriously.
But he does it to the chair, so it's more devastating. It's just it's a fun match. It's a fun way to end it. I
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah. I don't
Not
have much else to say
basically
on that.
the first two matches of night two swept the floor with night one, except for the main event. That's all I gotta
That's
say.
yes, in every way.
Yes. Moving on to the third match of the night,
Real
which
quick,
is the.
real
Go
quick, I
ahead.
will say we do have in the chat from Chief Bryce one's up for Chief Beast Mode. Bryce in the chat.
Yep.
He does say fiend. Yes, yes, yes. A lot
We
of
will get to
fiend.
that part. We will get to that
We'll
part. I
get there. We'll,
promise
we'll
you.
get to that. We'll get to that. But a
But
lot of
yes,
fiend
Fiend
at
was played
WrestleMania.
a lot through
The
through
theme
the
song.
actual. Yeah, he does speak Cardinese.
You
He
speak
does.
Cardinese. We do
Thank you,
speak
Clay.
Cardinese here at this show. But anyways,
Um,
continue on to the third
yes,
match.
on to the third match. We have the WWE Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way between Braun Breaker, Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor. All I gotta say is, dirty, dirty Dom.
Yep.
He is now our IC champion. I really based off. I like Dominic Mysterio. I think he was destined for a championship at some point. He last year or 2 years ago, whenever he was getting booed out of the stadium, it was just like he's just a great character worker. I really do think he resembles Eddie so much.
Yeah.
But
And he
yeah,
sticks with the
it's
act outside as well. Like he's
yeah, and
one
then
of the
I
few.
just felt for him. Like honestly, it almost probably brought a tear to my eye when he was running back and soaking it all in
Yeah,
after the
that was
fact,
awesome.
because it just was like and because Rey Mysterio was in the back just absolutely crying his eyes out. It was just like It was a great moment. It was a great moment. Dom deserves it. I don't know if his championship reign lasts very long, but I will say we'll get to it on the Raw episode. But yeah, there's some hope. There's some hope. Let's say that. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. No, this was a great match. Obviously, we both called it. We both predicted Dominic Mysterio to win. That is what happened. A little bit of a toss-up. It could have been Finn. That's clearly what they were trying to portray here as well, that maybe it would have been Finn. That is not what happened. So just to be clear, you know, there was like in the match like Finn and Dom kind of working together, and then the pivotal moment where Dom kind of sees his opportunity to, you know, turn his back on Finn, potentially pin Finn and win. It doesn't work out that way for Dom. He almost gets
No.
it off, but it doesn't quite work out that way because Finn kind of knows better and he knows Dom. And then that's the point where we're all like, "Ooh, okay, is this it?" Like I'm sitting there, me and Tyler, we're doing our like live stream of it, and we're like, "Oh, this is it." You know, Finn is break up with the Judgment Day right here. The interesting thing is that that's not quite what happened, right? So Dom wins the match, and at the end, you're kind of expecting Finn to like maybe attack Dom or something like that. That's just not what happens. Like Tyler said, they just gave Dom his moment to celebrate.
Yep.
You know, and you're right. Probably best moment, maybe possibly one of the best moments of all WrestleMania this year. Not all time, of course, but you know,
Yeah.
Dom probably breaking kayfabe a little bit. He's a heel. He's
Oh,
not
for sure.
necessarily. He's not yet a face. If they do want to make him one, sure, but he's not yet. So he just like an excited child literally just takes his belt, runs back out to the ring to just one more time go to the top rope, and they do fade to black here at this point on the broadcast, but it's obvious that he was
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm taking my moment. I've been working for this. This is my life. Like WWE is my entire life, and now I'm the guy. You know what I mean? I'm the guy, not my dad, not
Yep.
Eddie. not all these guys who've helped me out, not CM Punk, whatever. It's me. So good for Dom.
Pretty much the longest tenured WWE superstar. He's been
One
working there since he's
technically,
like 3, dude.
it's technically has one of the oldest toys made of any of the active superstars on the roster right now.
Yeah,
So,
dude. Yeah.
um, little Dom. But yeah, this was awesome. Like you had just said, I agree. I don't think this will be a long title run. He probably doesn't deserve it quite yet. I think this maybe sets him up to be someone that down the line is a long-term tag team champ. That probably is in his
Yeah.
future. Would be my guess. Him and somebody else. I don't know exactly who yet. Um, no one in the Judgment Day. I'll say that, but somebody else. Uh, yeah, I think great match. Maybe not quite the banger match that I thought it might have been ended up being. I think it kind of
I agree with you. I thought it was
cycled
going to be a
around
little
Dom
bit
and
better
Finn a
than what
little
it
more.
was.
Yeah, it was just it wasn't bad by any means. Don't get not. That's not what I'm saying. Maybe Tyler. I don't think
Yeah.
you think it's bad either. But it's just more
No, I don't
like
think it's bad. Like, but
yeah,
you and I were thinking it was probably going to be one of the
like one
better.
of the better
And
matches.
yeah, and to be fair, other people had amazing matches. It's just, yeah, this one
This
wasn't
one was
bad.
just
It, it,
solid.
it was
Yeah,
good. It's yeah, it's just I thought it was going to be better. That's all.
I would say it's more worth it to go back and watch Dom's ending and just his celebration than it is
Yeah,
even to watch the match, that kind of thing.
yeah.
So, I will say this real quick.
Cool.
This also had a Jeff Hardy finish where that's a cool spot. Dom wins the match, same fashion where he steals the victory from Finn by
Mhm.
doing his splash finisher from like almost across the ring to break up the pin and then get the pin himself and win. So that was just as cool as the EO spot that happened earlier. It's just not quite as good of a match leading up to it, but the same ending.
Yeah, same
Triple
type of
H
thing. Yep.
Triple H definitely remembers what one of the most popular finishes of his career is because he literally did it twice this one show.
Jeff Hardy returned sometime soon, maybe. No,
Well,
I
Jeff
was just
Hardy did
messing
return
with
technically,
you.
right? But he
Yeah, he did. He
not
technically did.
not
He
in the
did.
way that
Yeah.
we maybe would want him to. But yeah, cool match. If you don't have anything else to say on this one, we can go to the next one.
Yeah, I'll move to the next one. This is the fourth match. Yeah, fourth
Yeah,
match of
fourth
the night.
match.
We had Randy Orton come out, and we had no idea who he was going to
Uh,
face. He was still sitting there, just kind of like, who's out in the locker room? Who's tough enough to come in face me, basically? And we get blow doors. It took literally like 10 minutes for the doors to open, and then we get say his name, and he appears. Mr. Joe Hendry, the TNA champion, comes out and has his WrestleMania moment, dude. That's another moment. Like we had two like tear jerkers back and forth. Like we had Dom winning, and then now we have Joe Hendry making his WrestleMania debut, making the most of it. You know, some people call it a squash match. I don't care. This man was in TNA. He was literally an announcer slash like manager in WWE however many years ago. Like he finally came in and got his moment because of all the hard work that he put in. And made some fantastic spots out of it, made some fantastic meme spots, all that type of stuff, whatever you want to call it. He made it. He just made it. It was awesome. Randy Orton took it with him. Randy Orton even did the thing where he turns around but did his arm
he
thing,
did
dude. It
the
was
Randy
great.
Orton
It was
thing,
great.
yeah.
Awesome. Randy Orton definitely helped him out so much. It was awesome.
Yeah, look, awesome little match. I'm a little upset because I don't remember. I don't remember when it was brought up. I know we brought up Joe Hendry at one point. I just don't think we actually did it on our show. And so I predicted like everything other than Joe Hendry. I predicted Jeff
Yeah,
Hardy,
yeah.
or that was a prediction. It was a TNA guy, right? Just not the one that was way more obvious. And to just say it out loud, hey, they'll probably do the TNA champ, the most popular guy that's already been on WWE, Joe Hendry. But
Yeah.
whatever.
We
It was
could have
good.
definitely predicted. We
Good
had
thing it
enough
wasn't
predictions. We
solo.
had enough predictions.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't solo. I'll say, yeah,
And we all loved it.
yeah, it was fun.
So
It
yeah, we'll
was
move on.
quick.
We'll move on to the next match. The next match is AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Okay, we get. Well, actually, no. I'll let you. I've been announcing them, and I've been talking about it. I'll let you
Just
talk
like
about this one
what
first.
happened. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Real quick, I'll just say, Clay, thanks for hopping in, buddy. We always appreciate it and your support. And yeah, like we said earlier, everybody check out Clay's show. And most recent episode, our boy Tyler here was joining Clay, so you definitely have to go join in on that one. So yeah. Anyways, AJ Styles, Logan Paul. Uh, you know, This match actually ended up being pretty good. Nothing insane as far as like build up or anything. Just a pretty standard match between these two guys. Logan Paul comes out. The entrance for him is a little unique in the sense that it's like a flying drone, capturing his entrance that he is kind of controlling at the same time. It's really like super villain esque almost, I would say, but that's
Yeah,
kind of what he's
yeah,
supposed to be at the moment. He is a heel, so they have a really good match, really good back and forth, a lot of pretty interesting spots. You know, AJ is at the end of the day a high flyer still, even though he's a bit up there in age. He still has the ability to do all these moves that are like off the ropes, off the turnbuckle, um, you know, off the apron, down onto the mat, that kind of thing. And Logan really complements it. I will say we both had AJ winning this match, assuming that they want to give the WrestleMania crowd the kind of like a big whatever cheerful thing for like, oh, screw Logan, we hate you, Logan. But the way they end this match is that basically one of Logan Paul's little henchmen come in, they try to give him the brass knuckles like as always, or gold knuckles, or whatever they're supposed to be, and
Mhm.
out of frame, Karrion Cross grabs the guy's wrist, and he's like, "You're not going to do this. You're not going to ruin this match." Like Karrion Cross has been gaining a ton of like good heat off of this promo, off of this kind of feud so far, Logan Paul and AJ Styles. So he shows up at this
Yes.
match, and he, kind of gets AJ's attention. AJ comes out of the ring, kind of like this guy that's Logan's like henchman is like a normal sized man. I would say even a decent bit smaller than me and you are. Like this regular sized dude. AJ Styles like he throws the hell out of this dude, and the guy looked kind of like, oh god, like I didn't know they were gonna do this to me, which was funny. It was funny as shit. But Karrion is like, AJ, he literally does this. He's like, take this and destroy him. Like he does like a fist thing, and AJ's like, no, and he like takes the fist and he throws them. Now I don't understand
Yeah.
what the point of this was supposed to be in the sense that like the ref, you literally see
Yeah.
it in frame. The ref's just kind of like looking like, man, these guys are talking about cheating right now, and she's like, no, we're not gonna be doing that. I don't know. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know what Karrion thought. Like I guess he
Yeah. It
thought
was.
the point was just to beat up Logan and not win.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Like, there would have been a DQ. Whatever. It doesn't really. The details aren't too important. What matters is that AJ throws the knuckles away, anyways, goes back in the ring, but then all this time pass is what Logan needed to set up his own, you know, what is his thing called? Just like knockout punch or
The phenomenal
the
forearm, or no,
phenomenal
Logan's.
Logan's thing.
Oh, Logan's is the
It's
one lucky punch is what
one
it's
lucky
called. It's
punch.
called
He,
one
he
lucky
ends up
punch.
hitting AJ with that. Sets up a few more things. I believe between then and him hitting the pulverizer, he hits AJ with the Styles Clash, who then it gets rolled up into AJ immediately hitting Logan with the Styles Clash, who then kicks out of it and then eventually does hit him with the pulverizer and then wins the match. But it's fun. It was fun. It really. I think the result of this at the end of the day is that Karrion Cross is now more over than he really was at all before WrestleMania season was coming. Even a couple weeks ago, like he's way more over right now than he was then. He really launched himself into the stratosphere with just what he's been able to
Yeah.
do. Being a Logan Paul hater, I just don't think we've had a character like that in quite some time. Where like yeah, everybody hates Logan, but all of them hate him kind of equally, like in just this sense of like, oh, you're an annoying kid. But Karrion Cross comes at it with this energy that Seth Rollins has for CM Punk. So
Yeah.
it's actually really good. It's interesting. We'll touch shortly on kind of how they address it in Raw, but that's the match. Logan Paul beats AJ Styles. We were wrong on that, but it's fine. I don't
Yep.
think it's gonna kill anything. Like it's cool for Logan. He probably was like in the back politicizing and being like, I think I want to win here at WrestleMania, guys. Like I
Yeah.
know
Right.
AJ
Seriously.
might want to win, but it's fine. I'm getting him into WrestleMania. That's probably what the pitch was. So yeah,
Yeah.
unless you have anything else to really throw on that one,
N-
what did you think?
no. Yeah. The match was okay. It wasn't as good as like I thought it was going to be, just because I thought that their styles were going to clash a little bit better than they did. It's whatever. It's cool. But yeah, to your point with the Karrion Cross thing, like Karrion Cross's whole like storyline, his whole character is talking to people and turning them heel. Like anything that he touched turns to poison, basically. Like it
Right.
goes, it turns heel. And turning a guy who already doesn't have a lot of hype at that particular moment and taking his whole shtick away by having AJ the like throw the brass knuckles away and basically like, no, I'm not going to turn heel. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to listen to you. Like fighting that type of thing. I get that they're probably setting up AJ versus Carrion, um, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Again, the world is now on Karrion Cross's side. People love him. If you see, he had a little bit on Raw. He got the loudest pop that I've heard in a long time. In a long
Yeah,
time, like prime, like
he did.
L.A. Night
He did.
type pop type of things, right, dude? Like it was, I think prime, like last year L.A. Night, like that type of stuff. He was going crazy. So yeah, I don't know what the WWE is trying to do. Hopefully, Karrion Cross kind of switched the modem a little bit, or the motive, I should say, a little bit, um, to go in his favor. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
So yeah, we'll move on to the next match, which is the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match with Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and then Lyra Valkyria and an unknown opponent. As I said in the last episode, I said it was going to be Becky Lynch.
And
Guess who
who
comes
was it?
down the ramp?
Who was it?
Guess who comes down the ramp? It was Becky
The
Lynch.
man.
Becky Lynch comes down the ramp. My prediction was a little off. We'll
Yeah.
wait till we get to Raw, but it was a little off. Pretty much spot
You were
on.
you
Just
were
literally
90%
like,
there. Yeah.
yeah, 90% there, 90% there. But yeah, so I mean, the match, it was okay. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it was anything spectacular. We did end up getting new champions. Lyra and Becky are now your WWE Women's Tag Champions. I say now, as in this time, this story time, and then we'll go on forward a little bit in the episode, and you'll see who the new champions are. Um, but yeah, so yeah, we had new champions in this match. The match was okay. Big pop for Becky, all the kind of stuff that we had predicted, right?
Yep. Yep. Um, you know, we did think that Liv and Raquel would retain. But that
Oh
was
yeah,
when
we
we
did. We
thought
did think that they were okay.
it
Yeah,
was Lyra and Bailey in the match. To be fair, but we didn't want to change predictions just because they changed the match. We made them before changes were possible. So that's what happens when you do
yep,
predictions like that. So,
yep. You're right.
um, we thought Liv and Raquel might retain, but it honestly thinking about it, okay, if it is going to be Becky, that does make a lot more sense, right? To just be like, well, they're not going to bring Becky back and then just have her lose, that kind of thing. But you know, I liked the match for the most part. Becky was probably the weakest part of it, but she also didn't do that much, and that makes sense because it's been some time since she's even wrestled. The other three
Mm-hmm.
have been wrestling a lot, especially Liv and Lyra. Raquel, even she looked pretty seasoned at that point and in that match
It's been
versus
pretty much a year since Becky's
yeah,
been back. I think. Yeah.
yeah. So you know, not exactly the match that's like chock full of these like insano spots where you're like, oh my god, I need to catch that and see that thing that happened. Not really. Um, I don't think we're necessarily spoiling by saying, okay, well, one of the things we're going to end up talking about here on the Monday Night Raw show is that they end up fighting. I won't say exactly what happened yet, but they ended up fighting each other again on Monday Night
They
Raw.
got the rematch. They get the
They got the
rematch clause.
rematch
That's what they got.
immediately, yeah. And I'll just
Yeah.
say now, to put it this way, that if you want to watch one, watch the second one. I think it's better than the first
Yes.
one. I think Becky got her ring
Yes.
rust off in the WrestleMania match, and then she put on a much
Yep.
better and more impressive outing the second time around.
Yes.
And
I agree.
there's more story that happens as well in the second one. But I actually don't have
Yes.
much else to say because there's much more to say about
Nope.
it on the Raw part.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yep. So we'll
Lyra and
move on
Becky
to
win.
the. Yep.
Next match.
Yep. We'll move on to the main event for night two. Main event for WrestleMania in its entirety. We have for the undisputed WWE Championship. We have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in one of the weirdest, most awkward matches I think I've ever witnessed in my entire life. Um,
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, dude, I don't even know where to begin. First off, John Cena is now the latest and greatest 17th time goat of all goats champion. He is now our champion. He is now our going to ruin wrestling. That's his goal. That's his plan. Um, but dude, the crowd, I still can't get over it. Why are you booing Cody Rhodes? Why are you booing Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I can't understand it. I can't understand it. And John Cena, and we'll get to it in a second, he addresses that on Raw. He's basically saying like, you know, uh, you guys turned your back on your goat. You guys turned your back on the guy that you basically were saying we want Cody for. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It was all weekend. It was from Friday to Sunday, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. The match was okay. We get the most awkward and weird appearance of Travis Scott in the match. He comes back, takes about 10 minutes to walk down the ramp, looks at Cody, and Cody's like, "Oh, don't worry. I remember what you did. I remember what you
Yeah.
did." All that
Yeah.
type of stuff. Um, Travis kind of John Cena's or Cody's back as the John Cena. Travis jumps off the ropes, back onto the floor, and John Cena tries to do some stuff. Then Travis comes back up, and goes to swing on Cody. Cody catches it. Cody hits Travis with a crossroads. Uh, then Cody grabs the belt from John Cena and he's like gonna try and hit John Cena, and John's like, "No, don't hit me, please." Cody's like, "Okay, I'm the good guy," and John kicks him in the nuts. Does what he does. End of it is all. The story's
Yeah.
done. John Cena ends up pinning 1, 2, 3, and now we have a new champion. Again, it was I can't stress this enough. One of the weirdest, strangest endings I've ever witnessed in a WWE match. But you might have a different opinion.
No, I do agree. Probably, I mean, I don't think anybody really would want to say it, but probably one of the lower tier matches of the night, and just not even just match, but yeah, the way that the story itself unfolded was very awkward. Um, I think a lot of people were predisposed to hate just because it's Travis Scott coming out, and especially without The Rock. So there's like a certain section of the fan base where it's like, as soon as it's just Travis Scott coming out and no Rock, it's like, oh, this sucks. That's not why it necessarily sucked. It sucked
You're right.
because the match was already like in a good swing and didn't necessarily need this big interruption. I don't know if it really needed an interruption at all. At a certain point, the match felt like it was finally getting into a good rhythm, and then that's where they just like, I don't think they cut to black, but it was like, they play like a little synth, and then it's Fiend. Like Fiend is Fiend is Travis Scott's theme, of course, for his entrance is not just the theme for the show or one of the themes for the show. So we've already heard it a million times throughout the two nights, and then of course we hear it again for his entrance. I will say this: that's probably the one time it actually was banging because the whole crowd was going like Fiend, Fiend,
Yeah.
Fiend. They loved it at first, but the whole moment is supposed to be Travis Scott coming down. But here's the thing: coming down for what? He comes down. John Cena already is about to win the match. He was already in a position where he was about to win. Cody had like just kicked out of a pin or something like that, and then the music hit. So he comes down for what? Nothing. Literally nothing had changed quite yet at that point. It only technically builds up to what is of course scripted to happen, but it's kind of like in the
Like,
moment it happened, it doesn't actually make any sense at all. And like you just said,
no.
it took him like 5, 6, 7 minutes to just walk down the ramp or come in,
Yeah.
walk around, show the belt, kind of walk around, walk down the ramp, come up, like all these things. They're literally cutting back and forth to just show John Cena, and he's just like sitting there
Yeah,
smiling.
dude.
He's just sitting there smiling because he doesn't. There's nothing really to do. Cody just has to lay there it's just a weird pace. It's like a weird moment. It's a weird beat.
Like it would have been
Travis,
so much better if he came from underneath the ring or something like
something like
that,
that, or Travis should have just
and
came
then
in with John Cena.
Hit Cody with his like hardcore belt or something. It would have just more fast paced and quick. If it was more fast paced and quick, instead of us just like, okay, Travis Scott's here, comes out all slow, and he's like, I'm here.
Yeah,
I got my little
or
fake
no
hardcore
entrance
belt
maybe.
that I got. Like, yeah, just no entrance at all. I think, like I said, if he
Just come out of the
is under
crowd.
the ring or comes from the crowd or something like that, I think it would land a little bit better. I don't know. Again, it
It
was a
would have
weird
landed a
match in
lot
general.
better. So, like, think of
Yeah.
all the other moments, all the big moments that we've had in the last couple of years of guys coming out of the crowd, or like you said, under the ring, and how they hit and how much more emotionally, you know, better it is to see it that way.
Yeah.
Imagine if in any one of those moments, the music of the guy just hit, but not only does it just hit, they like take forever to join as a part of the conflict that's happening. It would just make no sense. It would ruin every single one
Yeah.
of those moments, and everyone would agree the moment is ruined. But I think they think just because it is Travis Scott and it's the main event, they can just get away with like what they've been doing these last couple of
Yeah.
years, which is like
Exactly.
these big moments, these big grandiose moments. Those just happen to work because like they're once in a lifetime, and we kind of all felt this big grand thing coming. But this match was not that. Um, ruined. It's not ruined. It just wasn't as good as it could have been. I don't even know if he
Yeah, I
needed the
agree.
interference, or at the very least, like we just said, could have just been Travis Scott running out from the crowd really quick with like a hood on, and then he takes it off, and of course, it's that bastard Travis Scott, something like that. As simple as that, because there's no Rock. No Rock came
Yeah.
out. I think the fact that they did an entrance and The Rock didn't come out with him was like,
Yeah.
what? Like we're just getting Travis Scott. It almost felt
Yeah.
like they messed up The Rock coming out. That's what I started saying on our stream. I was like, "Where's The Rock?" Like then The Rock, and then The Rock,
Is he
and then
here?
he
Is he
didn't
coming?
come, and then it was just Travis Scott. It's like, okay, okay, what are we doing here? So yeah, weird kind of ending, but John Cena does win. It's what we both predicted. Um, you know,
Yeah.
the match
We
itself
can move
wasn't
on.
horrible, but yeah, yeah, a little
Yeah.
weird. We can move on though.
Yeah. So that wraps up WrestleMania.
Yes, sir.
WrestleMania 41. Now we're on to a new season, a new year. Hopefully WrestleMania 42 brings us more joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you take away Monday Night Raw after
Well,
Mania.
do we want to? We can go over real quick. What are our what's our
Oh
record
yeah,
for
we
our
can go. Yeah.
predictions?
We can definitely do that. So based off of our predictions, and like I said, we will keep a tally of this kind of stuff, and hopefully by the end of by the time WrestleMania 42 comes around, we can kind of see what our total score is. So both right now, Daniel and I are both 7-6. Daniel getting right the J match, the New Day, Jacob Fatu, Tiffany Stratton. Drew McIntyre, Dominic Mysterio, and John Cena. While I also got correct Jey Uso, Tiffany Stratton, Seth Rollins, Io Sky, Dominic Mysterio, Drew McIntyre, and John Cena. So, we both got the same outcomes, same results, just a couple different. I had Io, you had Bianca, that type of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
right now we're tied, and hopefully I can jump ahead in the next PLE cycle. So.
Absolutely. All right. So yeah, that's our results for the WrestleMania predictions. Do you want to just say real quick what we thought about the pay per view in general? Like, I'll just say real quick. I
You want to do it out of
generally
5 stars?
yeah, like
Because
an out of
that's
a
what they
five
do.
star. Yeah,
Yeah. Go
I'll
ahead.
just go ahead and give this a really just solid. Um, it's hard because that night one was just so lackluster. I'll give this a 3.5 stars out of 5. I don't want to be too downer on it because there are so many moments that we will all never forget, and that's what you want out of WrestleMania. The thing is, they've set themselves up for a lot when they say, "Oh, we're doing 2 nights now. Going for we're doing 2 nights." Okay, well that's 2 nights you got to make good. That kind of thing, and
Yeah.
this just was not 2 good nights of chock full of wrestling. Like there was a lot of stuff that could have been taken off, or at the very least, a lot of stuff that should have been done better. So I think 3.5 stars is right where it should be. A lot of room to improve for next year, like Tyler kind of just alluded to, and hopefully next year will be a little bit better. But this isn't quite as bad as maybe some people will want you all to believe. I wouldn't get too doomer about it. Like there's a lot of good stuff to be excited for here in WWE going forward. So what do you think?
I'm gonna give it. I think I can give it a 3.5 star as well.
Hmm.
I was gonna lean towards the going towards a 3 star just because like
That'd be
and I'm
fair.
not I don't want to I don't want to fault them for injuries. I don't want to fault them for the KO stuff. I don't want to fault them for
That's
the
so
Rey
true.
Mysterio stuff. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to keep it at a 3.5 star because like matches like Bianca, that triple threat, awesome. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, awesome. Um, the main event night
Triple
one,
threat. Yeah.
awesome. Like, I'm gonna leave those. So yeah, I'll leave it at a 3.5 for now because I don't want to fault them for the injuries.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally fair. I'll even go ahead and just say, like, even with KO injury, like, I still like the Randy Orton Joe Hendry moment, so I don't think it was totally horrible,
No,
that
I
kind of
still
thing.
liked it. I still liked it for sure. But I'm saying more story. Like if it was a more story based kind of
It would have
it
been
would probably hit
better.
a little
I
bit
see what you're
harder.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, I because WrestleMania technically ended like 20 minutes early. I definitely think that match was the KO and Randy match was supposed to go a little bit longer than what Joe
Yeah,
Hendry and Randy
that's
did. So
I can agree with that. Okay. Well, look,
so that match would have probably been like a 4.5 star match just
yeah,
based off of those two, and that would have probably boosted it up. But anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say that wraps up pretty much everything we could possibly have to say about WrestleMania 41, the DNT wrestling show. We've covered it in a couple different episodes in a couple different ways. This really is the first big thing that this show has covered, as a just a topic. It was exciting to get through. It was exciting to predict, and I think we got a lot of it for the most part right, which was really fun. So, stick around, keep watching the show if y'all wanna. If y'all want two people that clearly have their ear to the right things, and I think we got an act for that that
Hey,
kind
if
of
you're if you are coming for like cult like hot takes
hot
and
takes.
stuff like that, and then they
Well,
come true, we'll prove it to you here in a little bit. But go ahead,
I
go
think
ahead.
that
We
you segue into a great thing. So we'll go ahead and get started with Raw right now. I'll go ahead and take over this part. Uh, Starting off the Raw after WrestleMania. First segment of the show, first thing that the crowd gets to witness is the John Cena entrance. Same song, same everything. Crowd singing along. John Cena sucks, whatever. But no flair, no color, no rainbows, no shine, no nothing, no hustle, no loyalty, no respect. All it says in the background on a big black screen is in all bold white, John Cena. That's it. Very minimalist from our new champ. And he comes out, he now does this entrance where the belt is turned backwards. He does his hustle loyalty, or he does his like last time flag, so it doesn't say hustle loyalty respect. It's like last time or whatever, and he puts that behind him as well. So it's only from the back that you see all this, and you
Mhm.
can't see him. I don't know if that's supposed to be the idea here, but with the towel draped over his back of his head, and then all these things covering his body, like you cannot see him anymore. He's like running away. I don't know if that's kind of the gist of the message there, but whatever. He gets in the ring, and of course the purpose here is to cut a promo. And John Cena goes, he tells the crowd to go to hell, and he actually doesn't say anything at first. He just gives the announcer a piece of paper after the announcer introduces him. And the announcer basically he tells the crowd, John Cena is telling me that my in-ring announcement of him is incorrect, and that I am stupid, and
He
that
said it was
it was
disrespectful. He said it was
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and so the real thing that he needed to say, I didn't get the full thing written down here, but he says basically that John Cena is the GOAT. John Cena is this 17-time last real champion. John Cena. That just expands the accolades. The crowd really gets behind it. So like you were saying earlier, everybody was booing Cody Rhodes. The crowd was really, really cheering John Cena here. Do not be mistaken. There was no booing. There was no heel heat. It was just straight up
So
cheering for John
crazy.
Cena.
So crazy,
Right,
dude.
right. So Cena starts to rant against the crowd. Most of this promo is just him kind of ranting and just talking about how great he is, how stupid everyone else is, how tired he is of everything and all these things. And he kind of like brings it to this more important note where he says, the only thing that matters is this. And he points to the board, and it's the number 36. And he says, that's how many appearances I told you all I had when I first showed up again. and let's do some math or let's do some history or something like that. And he starts counting down literally the amount of things he's done since that 36 number, and he gets to 27. And he says, that's how many you have left. That's how much you all get of me. And it's 27 appearances. And he says, that's not matches. That's just me showing up. And it's supposed to be this kind of ominous thing of like, that there is a clock on how much time y'all have left with this belt, because like I said, I'm taking it from y'all. This is me. I'm the last real champion. You're going to have to make a new belt or whatever, but the belt that Bruno Sammartino wore, the belt that Roman wore for 1,000+ days, the belt that Cody took off of him, all of that is gone. I'm removing it from the history books after 27 more appearances. So one little funny bar was that he said something like, you say I can't wrestle, I say that I don't need to, right? And the crowd goes, ooh, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, well. um, he mentions like Cody Rhodes was the last real chance you had, and the crowd boos. Like they boo Cody Rhodes' mention. And he goes, see, you all just followed him for the last 2 years. You backed him. He was your champion. He finished his story for you all. He was supposed to beat me, and he was supposed to shut me up, and you all boo him. That's what's wrong here. And he's actually he's really spitting fire at this point. He's kind of making a good point.
Absolute facts, bro.
Absolute facts. Where he's calling them out for what makes no sense, booing Cody, when it's like that's the whole point. You're supposed to be a part of it, whatever. And so the big crescendo here, and I know I'm making this big long thing, but it matters, right? Because this is kind of setting up the next couple months for how this main belt feud will go. He basically says, everyone take out your phones, get a good pick. This is the last time Vegas, all of you ever in your life get to see the last real champion. He holds up the belt and he's getting all like glorious about it. And then who do you see slithering up behind him, all sneaky, like ready to pounce, ready to get him? Randy Orton, the legend killer, is sneaking up behind John Cena. The crowd is losing their mind. John kind of does like, oh, what's going on behind me kind of thing. And Randy Orton RKO's him. Crowd loses their freaking mind. They're setting up what is obviously the next rivalry here between John.
Dude,
it is Randy Orton. Randy Orton, he doesn't really get on the mic, but he does say like you're done, He's yelling at him. He's like, that's mine, like about the belt. He takes it, kind of like raises it, and then neatly lays it. He said,
he didn't say it on the mic, but he says, he must have forgot. He must have forgot.
Yeah, he must have forgot who I am. He must have forgot who I am.
Oh, Randy's great.
Because it is perfect. Like the whole promo from John is this idea that no one is left to beat me. Cody was your best shot, and it's kind of like but we all know that Randy has actually been doing wrestling a little more than you have lately. So if anyone here is a good vet, it's probably actually Randy Orton. That kind of thing. But
is Randy fun. 2 more times until he hits 17? Does he have 15
he's definitely up there. I think it is like around
14 or 15.
Yeah. So
I mean,
his number would also be close. Maybe that's actually an excellent point. I didn't even think about that. Maybe we do get a promo where he's like, you think you're a record breaker out here. You actually need to put me away or I'm going to break your record. That would actually be crazy. But look, this was an amazing way to start the show. Amazing way to start what is, I will continue to get into it, but an amazing show in general. Awesome start. Awesome, feud that we get now. What do you think?
I think this Raw after Mania was better than the entirety of WrestleMania.
I agree. I don't think that's crazy to say. I don't think, at the very least, night one, like for sure, night one. That yeah,
dude.
There are some things that were in this that probably should have just been in WrestleMania, to be honest with you. But what did you think of this John Cena promo? Like the new direction we're going in.
I mean, you spent a. You did it. You did it justice.
Cool.
It's everything was in detail. You said it all. Again, I still can't believe that they're booing Cody, and I'm glad that John Cena literally mentioned that. He's just like, you guys are just the worst type of people. You fans are literally just the worst type of people. And I agree with him. So we can go on to the next match.
All right. Well, the very next match, we mentioned it earlier, but this was a real true banger. Rematch for the Women's Tag Team Championship belts. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Let's see my notes for this one. So Liv and Raquel come out first. Just funny little thing. The announcer completely chokes up as he's doing it. He goes, I
forgot about that.
I can't even remember how he did it, but he just it took him like 3 times to get it out.
He's like, and now, and like he did it again.
He was choking up. I don't know. It was funny, but anyways, I I actually, this is what made me in the moment think that they were definitely going to be losing it. Becky and Lyra, when they came out, looked horribly awkward together. They looked like they had just gotten done saying, and you know we're going to lose, right? Like that's what they looked like they had just gotten done talking about, and then they looked like really just something was like wrong on their face, right? So it kind of already looked like the writing was on the wall just from their entrance, but again, I'm not some type of a body scientist out here or whatever. This match, like I mentioned earlier, Becky looks a lot better early in this match than she did in the last one. Becky almost finished Liv halfway through the match, so she did do the manhandle slam, but then Raquel breaks it up. Let's see. There's a cool spot where Becky and Lyra. Okay, so yeah, this was probably the coolest spot of the match. Raquel's up on the turnbuckle. Becky and Lyra go up to suplex her, double suplex her off the top. And this is getting near the end of the match, so we're all kind of feeling like, oh, this might be the finish. But instead, Liv runs back in the ring. She like jumps up on the rope, up and over and back down under Becky
Yeah, that was
to
cool.
get her into a powerbomb position herself. So Liv powerbombing Becky. She takes Becky off and power bombs her. And now it's just Lyra up there. So the crowd's losing their mind at what Liv just did. Now it's just Lyra up there with Raquel. And she's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to Hurricane Rana Raquel off the top instead. You can kind of see where it's going. She goes for the Hurricane Rana, gets caught by Raquel instead. And Raquel's like, well, I'm going to power bomb you now instead, too. Power bombs Lyra off the top rope. And it's just a really cool, like, little tag team spot, whatever.
Yeah.
So then, let's see. After that, oh, and in that moment when Raquel goes to powerbomb Lyra, definitely not on purpose, but it just so happened. Lyra, she has this weird headdress on, and it's all these
Yeah.
little butterflies on them. And if you go back and watch it, one of the butterflies perfectly falls as almost like it is flying into the camera lens as Raquel powerbombs her off the top. And that's probably the moment of the match where everything starts going pretty poorly for Becky and Lyra. So it literally is like this weird metaphorical thing of
That's
like,
turning point. Yeah, that's pretty
like
cool.
the bird is flying off of her head type of, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
But that just happened randomly. So let's see. Lyra goes for her finisher on Liv, who is saved by Raquel. Becky tries to even the odds, so like she tries to remove Raquel from that equation to like let Lyra and Liv duke it out. But then instead, Becky ends up, or sorry, she's unsuccessful in doing that, so she kind of messes it up. She just kind of like messes up messing with Raquel. So then
Yep.
Lyra runs over to try to like hit Liv. She hits Raquel instead. Raquel flies off the ring apron into Becky, who had just gotten knocked away. So now Becky's like out of commission and can't help with what's going on. So we went from just a second ago Lyra about to hit her finisher to finish the match on Liv to now she's facing, about to turn around and face Liv, who is about to hit a code breaker on her. 1, 2, 3. Liv and Raquel win the match because, if we're being honest, what it was really was that for the last few minutes, Lyra was in the ring trying to battle the two of them while we're waiting for Becky to kind of come and try to even the odds. She really couldn't manage to do that. And
Yeah.
then Liv and Raquel, who are the more seasoned tag team, pull out the victory, take the
Yeah.
belts
Becky
back.
like tries to get back in the ring, and then
Yeah,
I
it
think
doesn't
like,
really work out in
yeah.
her way.
Yeah.
And the only reason I bring this up, and this is kind of what Tyler alluded to earlier, the match ends. It's very disappointing. Lyra and Becky are, of course, their relationship goes further back than just this. Becky is Lyra's mentor, so we expect maybe a moment where Becky embraces her and just says, "Good job, kid," that kind of thing. But instead, we get a hug that turns into a Becky Lynch clothesline on Lyra Valkyria, and she just starts like yelling at her, kind of like I would almost equate it to like an angry mom or like an angry aunt or something like
Yeah.
that, just kind of yelling at you, like not
Like I
really
come
hitting
back
her.
to help you, and then you
Yeah,
want to lose the match for us,
you
and
want
that type
you
of
want to
stuff. Yeah.
lose the match for us, but it's like again, I mentioned it on purpose. Like I really feel like Becky is the one that lost the match. It's fake, right? But it's like Becky is the one
Yeah.
that lost the match for them, and so Lyra's just like freaking out. Becky leaves the ring, but then Becky comes back in, and this is where it gets crazy. Becky just starts manhandle slamming Lyra like multiple times. She leaves again. The crowd who is insane. By the way, we already mentioned that the crowd who is insane is now cheering, just straight up cheering for the heel Becky turn and going one more
It's
time,
like,
one more time.
why?
What?
Why?
Lyra is
Why?
the face, and Becky is like, this is a heel turn, but they like this stuff. The Vegas crowd, I guess, whatever. They're these crazy people, and so they cheer and they're like one more time. So Becky goes in and does a third, and maybe if I remember correctly, a fourth manhandle slam to the women's intercontinental champion Lyra Valkyria. Think it's pretty obvious. And you look, I'm probably taking the words out of your mouth a little bit here, but Tyler literally predicted this. Not quite exactly on Monday Night Raw, but he did predict this happening on WrestleMania, and this is exactly what happened. Let's be real. This is exactly what happened. They lost because of their bad partnership, and then we get a turn, and now I think it's pretty obvious that the new contender for the Intercontinental Women's Championship is Becky Lynch. What do you think, Tyler?
Yep.
What do you think of this match?
Yeah, I mean, again, you spot on, my friend. You hitting every single point. Only thing I gotta say really is yes, I was right. All I gotta say. I'm just a goat. I'm just a goat
Yes.
now. But and no, dude, I still can't. And I'm sitting there watching the stream with you, and I'm just like, what is the crowd doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely no sense. And it's like I don't because if the crowd stay that way and they stay doing that stuff, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? I just don't
It's
know. I just
awkward.
don't know. It's
It's
like nobody can
easier.
be
Yeah.
booed. It's you're booing somebody for doing what traditional wrestlers are supposed to do, and then you're not booing. You're cheering them for the heel turns and that type of. It's just
It's getting ridiculous. It's getting a little silly.
I don't
Like,
get it. I don't get it. I hope I'm glad that we're out of Vegas. I'm so glad that we're out of Vegas.
yeah.
Hopefully, world is come back down to reality. And yeah, I just
Yeah.
I don't know. But hey, that's the only really thing that I had. Just because I was sitting there screaming at the crowd, like, what the hell are you
You
doing?
were.
But
You
yeah,
were getting
the
pissed.
match was great.
Yeah, it was good stuff. So look, that's all there really is to say on that. We'll be keeping an eye on how that feud unfolds. So going forward. So the next thing was a promo. The New Day cut a promo. They are now your new men's tag team champions. They come out to basically just say, we are the New Day, and like that kind,
Yeah,
say you're
thank God
thank
for the
God for
new
the New
day.
Day, like doing all that. Just your general what you'd expect from heel champs. But they did good. Nothing bad, nothing great. Just kind of standard. But the important thing here, Alpha Academy, led by Maxine Dupree, comes out. And she is basically the one that just straight up cuts the promo. So I was fairly impressed by her at this point. Her evolution has been fairly impressive over the last couple of years. She is now basically the leader of the group. Just no question about it. She basically says like, hey, that's impressive that y'all won a WrestleMania. Good for you. But last time I checked, Otis, and Tozawa Alpha Academy beat y'all in under a minute. So I'm just trying to see what it's all about now that y'all got belts. And I think y'all should fight for them here now tonight. And they're like, nah. Like New Day's like, nah, don't feel like it. And she's like, "Oh, what was that from the Minutemen again? Like, what was that? I didn't think I just heard some chicken, like some cowardice from the Minutemen."
That was
And
great, dude.
Kofi and Xavier are like, "The what now? Like, huh? The Minutemen? Oh hell!" They're like, "Hell nah, hell nah." They're like, "Okay, nah. The Minutemen is crazy." They literally say verbatim, "The Minutemen is crazy." Now that's crazy. And so they're like, "Let's do this match right here now." They start setting up for it, and then the lights go black. And you're like, wait a second, what is this? Like a tag team is coming? Like I don't understand this. That's what I was saying, literally. Like a tag team is coming.
Same, yeah, I was
I
thinking the
thought
same
maybe it was
thing.
like the Hardys or something, but it was kind of like, nah, this doesn't make sense. It's fucking Rusev. Rusev
Yeah,
is
dude.
back in
At the
in the
most
middle of
random
this.
time.
This is
At the
so
most
random,
random
but
time.
it's like Rusev is back. The rumors were
And
out
then
there.
doesn't attack the New Day, attacks
Doesn't
the
attack
Alpha
the New Day.
Academy.
I don't know if they're setting
I
him
don't
up to
know.
be a
I don't know.
heel. I kind of maybe, but it's more like he goes in there to attack pretty much probably anybody that would step to him, and it's more that they are portraying that the New Day are cowards right now. They're cowards and heels, but the Alpha Academy is like, nah, we're not going to back down. And I think they did want to give us the moment of like Otis, who is a big beefy boy, versus this other big beefy guy, but a bit more muscular Rusev is than Otis.
Yeah.
So they just have a fun little thing where Rusev kind of just goes to work on Alpha Academy. Him and Otis do have a little bit of a back and forth, but then he does just end up kind of dumpstering Otis, and then that's the promo. It's Rusev's return. You have anything else really to say on that? It was just kind of a fun moment. Maybe go back and watch it if I was y'all. If you didn't get a
No, yeah,
chance to see it.
it's cool that we get Rusev back after 5 years.
Yeah,
Again, I think I don't know why you just have the Alpha Academy out there to kind of get exposed. Don't understand it, but we got Rusev. I'm not gonna think too much into it. I don't think they're gonna have a feud unless they try to build Rusev up and do like a handicap match with Rusev versus the two members of Alpha Academy. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we got
Yeah.
Rusev back, so that's
Yeah.
all we can really say.
Yeah. Cool stuff. We'll just go on to the next thing. It was also a promo, so really quick. Judgment Day has a little promo where they're basically just in the back. Now that Liv Morgan and Raquel have those belts, they're kind of doing like a yay, we have tag team belts and we have the Intercontinental belt back in the Judgment Day. Like, look, we got all this gold again, which is actually true. Like, wow, the Judgment Day is one of the, at this point, like, this faction has been going on for so long. They've had so many belts come in and out. It's kind of nuts when you think about it, how long
Mhm.
it's lasted. And so the real point here, though, is to show that Finn kind of joins the group and they're all like, oh, hey, Finn, what's up, buddy? That kind of thing. And the tensions are there, and you're kind of like, ooh, like, is Finn gonna fight them? Is he gonna be mad? Whatever. And all he says is like this idea of like whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And then he hugs Dom, and everyone's like, yay, whatever. And I think another important part of this is that Carlito is the only other one without a belt right now. And he goes up to Finn and he's like, hey, even though we don't have a belt, kind of feels like we do, right? Yeah. And then he's like, okay, I want to go get checked out by the doctor. But I think the point is just to show that Finn is now, he's no longer like the leader or a guy that could be the leader, or he's not the alpha, whatever. Now he's at Carlito's level. Dom has a belt, Liv
Yep.
has a belt, Raquel has a belt, but not Finn. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point of this promo.
Yep.
It's just a little bit of foreshadowing, nothing crazy. Now, this next thing, do you have anything to say on that, by the way? I want to get to the next thing
No,
if
go ahead. Just
possible.
keep going. Just keep going.
This is
You're
what
good.
we're gonna do for this next part, because I think this is the best part of the entire show. What a gem of a segment that we were blessed to have. Could have even just been in WrestleMania. I don't think any of us would have complained, even with no build-up. This match didn't need any build-up, and it was still amazing. I'm just gonna read from beginning to end the notes that I took, because it is a lengthy thing that
I'm gonna
happened.
let you just take it away, my friend. Just take it away.
Io cuts a promo where she says Bianca. So Io comes out. This is her championship thing, right? Io cuts a promo where she says Bianca and Rio tried to forget her. And she's doing all this in English, by the way. Just I want you all to keep this in mind. This is not her first language. She is Japanese, natively. So she does her best to speak English, and she does a very good job at doing it. She says Bianca and Rhea tried to forget her, but now all of the WWE universe has to remember her, right? So just this idea that they wanted to forget me, and now all of you must remember me. She cuts this very fire part where she says, I am the genius of the sky. I am Io Sky, and now I'm your women's WWE champion. And like the crowd goes crazy. Io, she does this thing. She does this. She points at herself.
Her little
It's
emote,
really
yeah.
fire. Yeah, it's really fire. It's really fun. Io's just cutting this really great promo by herself, and then she's interrupted. Now I didn't know this music at first. I was like, wait, who is this? Is this like a new person? Nope. Thank God it's not a new person. Nope, it's not a new person. It's Stephanie Vaquer, your NXT Women's Champion. Oh my God, one of the best women's wrestlers on the roster right now. Chilean descent. Also, not exactly a native English speaker. She comes down to the ring. She's in her devil costume, so she has like these little devil horns, just this kind of garb and like these longer gown
Mind
like.
you, it was blue, so the blue
And it
looked
was
sick,
blue.
by
It
the way.
looked really cool. So she was like a blue devil. She's interrupted by NXT champion La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer, who has a fire song. I put that in my notes. So I said this in the live stream, and you agreed with me. I said the best way to the best way to avoid having a bad Def Rebel song is apparently just to be a luchador and ask them for a heavy metal song with no lyrics, because all the luchadors and like, you know, Latin wrestlers who have been coming in recently just all are getting these like heavy metal songs with no words, and they're all really good songs. Stephanie's song is awesome. It really paints that image that she's like a demon or whatever. So she comes out and she's basically like, you know, I want to be the best and you want to be the best and you say they're best. Let's have a match. And they're like, yeah, let's do it right now. Adam Pearce comes out and the crowd boos him because he kind of makes it seem like he's going to say, no, 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 let's do it some other time. He says, nah, y'all want to do it right now. Let's do it. So they have a match. Stephanie Vaquer, your NXT champion, versus your women's world champion, Io Sky. Absolute banger of a match. Great spots between two. technically great wrestlers. The combo of high flying mixed with different limb manipulation and ground moves was fun. Stephanie hits this really cool move called a dragon screw, where she you put their leg on up between one set of ropes, and then you whip the other leg so that leg caught in the rope will like snap into the rope. It's very weird and painful looking. Of course, Io has a lot of different moves where she's high flying and all that stuff. Now, the spot that everyone is waiting for, Stephanie Backer's kind of signature little meme moment that she does. She takes you and she puts you in her head. She puts your head in between her legs, and you're both facing down like in a downward dog position. And then she dribbles your head up and down onto the mat, which it's basically, I really can't do it justice by just talking about it. I think I would just say go ahead and rewatch it. That's all I can
Yeah,
say.
just go watch a clip.
The crowd was completely into it. Everybody knew exactly what it was, to the point, and it's very made famous by the NXT commentator Booker T and WWE legend Booker T, who goes like every time
The
she
crowd
does the
was
move.
doing it.
The crowd did it and then chanted Booker T, Booker T. Just an absolutely insane match, because it's not like it was just this one little meme spot, whereas some of the WrestleMania matches we just talked about, we were literally talking about how there's just some meme spots or whatever. This match was amazing through and through, and it had stuff like that. So that was that. Real quick, they were able to do that. This match was so good that we start. Not only did we get "This Is Awesome" twice, we got, and this is a rare one for WWE crowds, but they got "Fight Forever." Fight forever, because it really was just so many moves back and forth that were executed perfectly. So much variety in the moves, so many different submissions into high flying, into slams. I mean, these two women they should have as many matches as WWE finds it necessary for them to have in the future. They should have those matches. This was awesome. To get up kind of near the end here, they got this Fight Forever chance. Let's see. Io hit Stephanie with a Spanish fly off the top corner, so that's like flipping the both of you, like literally both of you do a front flip off the top rope to do like a slam, not like a suplex necessarily, but similar to it. And then let's see, they're kind of going back and forth after that move. That was kind of like the big crescendo spot of the match. They're going back and forth, and we're kind of waiting to see maybe who will win. And then all of a sudden, literally out of just completely nowhere, Roxanne Perez comes in the ring and like levels Io Sky, kicks her right in the face. And so you're sitting there like, what? Okay, match over, no winner, I guess. Like, okay. The person that interrupted it was Roxanne Perez. We were feeling, me and you had called, like, someone's probably going to interrupt this at some point and distract Io or something, but we didn't think it would be like this, quite like this. So Roxanne comes in and hits Io, and she's just staring at Stephanie Vaquer, who we're like, okay, is she going to hit Stephanie? And then Julia comes in. Julia, who just had an amazing rivalry in a few matches with Stephanie Vaquer down on NXT. They have history in New Japan Wrestling. Julia comes in and hits Stephanie, and now it's clear that Julia and Roxanne are working together. They start beating up Io and Stephanie Vaquer in the ring. And then Rhea Ripley comes out. Her music hits and comes out. And she is there to kind of get rid of Julia and Roxanne. Roxanne just dips, so she's kind of like a cowardly heel or whatever. She just runs. But then we get a little moment where it's a face-off of Julia and Rhea Ripley. And that's kind of the big way that they end this segment of like, ooh, okay. So
this is the future of women's wrestling.
Yes, so you're
WWE.
kind of getting this little maybe like immediate foreshadowing of like, hey, Stephanie, Io, and Rhea are somewhat aligned at this moment. Like, she came in to protect those two. And then Julia, Roxanne, and whoever even else, maybe they're kind of like opposing. Now, I will leave it there and let you take and kind of cover, because I know you have I kind of just alluded to it just there. I know you have a little bit of a thing that you wanted to say based off what we said on the live stream for it. And as well as any other thoughts. I know I just said a lot, but y'all need to understand what they did here is they combined a promo and a match into one big thing. That's
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
My kind of theory that we were talking about during the live stream was, is this the women's Shield? Is that what we're getting to right now with Roxanne, Julia, and possibly another member? I don't even know who it would be. Maybe Stephanie turns, like you said, and then becomes part of that Shield. Like, do we get that type of stuff? Which the roster on everybody knows the women's NXT roster is amazing. They are the best women's roster on of any WWE show across the nation, across the world right now.
Mm.
Um, so I don't think it's above WWE. They're going back to older type of stuff like what Jeff Hardy finishes and all that type of like Triple H knows this stuff.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting back into it. They are not that what's stopping them from taking 5 or 6 women from NXT and making like a new Nexus or a new Shield or something like that,
Right, right. That
and
would be
just
cool.
taking over the women's division. Uh, they have so much talent over there that they can do it. That's all I'm saying. So um, that's all I have to say about it. We were absolutely blessed to get something like this Raw after Mania. And yeah, dude, just this, dude, it was awesome. It was awesome. Roxanne Perez is great. Julia's great. Rhea Ripley is great. All of them are just awesome.
Everybody
Dude,
in
it
that
was
ring
cool.
was awesome.
It was awesome.
No one felt out of place, which is wild because
No,
only 2 of the women in the ring of the whole thing were actually main roster at the moment. You know what I mean?
and it
So
just gets you so excited, like because they've only been in the WWE now for like 6 months, not even a full year,
yeah,
and they're already kind of getting pushed like
yep,
that.
it's
So
a good sign.
they're already coming to the main roster. So uh, you know, Stephanie Vacher could be coming up next week. Who knows? Again, I don't know if they're doing a draft or not. I have no idea.
It's hard to tell.
Because
Yeah,
the last 2 ones have kind of fell flat. Because they decided to do dumb things, like pick Kiana James as a number 1 overall pick for a show. Anyway, we'll
yeah,
get
that
into
kind of
that
ruined
later
it. That kind of ruined it.
if that happens or not. But yeah, nothing more to say. I think we can move on to the next part.
Yeah, cool. So I'll try to speed through some of the next few things. That thing that we just went over was probably, in my opinion, the best, like match necessarily that happened of the whole night. That is very much worth going back to watch if
Yeah,
y'all want to go back and watch anything. So,
best match,
um,
but not the best segment.
not the best segment. We'll get to that here in a little bit. So I'll get through these next few ones pretty quickly. So next thing would be Jey Uso cutting his kind of like, hey, I'm your new World Heavyweight Champion kind of package. So they do a package for Jey to start it. It's really cool. It's really just like going back through his history leading up to his entrance. Hey, just me use day one. It's just me use. Doing the yeets. Most of this, as you all can imagine, was the yeeting. Not as much of Jey talking, but more of the yeeting. But I think that's obviously that's part of it. That's what people like. It's fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of. I'm not going to complain about it. But the promo is pretty good. He's just kind of like, I earned this. I worked for this. I'll continue to work for y'all. I'm not going to be a champion that doesn't show up. I'm going to show up for y'all. So just sticking true to what that belt was made for and what Seth tried to develop it as the person that originally owned the belt, like a workhorse belt. And I'll say this. So I'll say what happens and I'll say what I find interesting. So Sami Zayn comes out,
Sammy
and
Uso.
yeah, Sami Zayn comes out, and it's nothing insane. It really is just him being like, "Hey, well, first off, I'm really sorry that I'm really sorry I couldn't be there for you throughout this entire thing of you feuding with Gunther, even though I myself feuded with Gunther. I just wasn't there for you. Sorry, but I'm here now. Isn't that great?" And so they eat together, and then the only thing of real note at this point is that there's a point where like Sami Zayn hops off of his turnbuckle that he's yeeting on, and Jey is still on his turnbuckle that he's yeeting on, and Sami Zayn just stands ominously behind him for just no real reason. He's just standing there like a dog, and it's
Yep.
like, oh, he's about to kill this man. Like he's about to turn on him right here now. And you can literally hear the crowd like in between the like, hey, hey, they're like, oh, like they're all yelling because they think it's about to happen. Jey kind of hops off and he kind of like he's looking at him, and then Sammy just embraces him and hugs him. That was it. Nothing crazy. And
Yeah,
then they're
nothing
kind of
crazy.
celebrating, and then Jimmy Uso comes out. His music plays. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of embraces them too. Hugs Jey, hugs Sammy. They do their patented like little back and forth Zack and Cody handshake.
Yeah.
And that was kind of
That
that.
was
But this is what I would say. I think the big point of this promo is not just to have them all there together. It's kind of the opposite. It's that Jey had this look on his face that I think was on purpose, where he kept looking at Sammy and Jimmy as this was unfolding, as it was literally just like a dance party at this point. He's just kind of looking at him like he looks pissed, and I think he's pissed because he's like, I was just cutting a promo about how I just did all this on my own. this is me, Oos. That's my song. Just me, Oos. Like, I did this. I worked my ass off. I beat Gunter all on my own. Now, of course, Jimmy was a big part of it, but Sammy was not. Sammy was not a big part of it at all, right?
No.
That is not something that was a part of this feud. And now Sammy's just kind of showing up like, yeah, yeah. And so I think at the very least, he was looking at Sammy like, it's weird that you're here now. You know what I mean? It's weird that you're here when I'm up, but not throughout the whole feud. And it almost looked like he was looking at Jimmy that same way. Now, for Jimmy, it would make sense that he was there because he did help with Gunter a little bit. But I'm wondering if they're going to run an angle of Jay feeling like, oh, y'all weren't here, y'all weren't with me when I was shooting in the gym kind of thing. Like,
No, I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think he's looking at Jimmy because he came out second. He didn't come out first. He wasn't the first person to congratulate him. But I do think Sammy is a perfect first opponent for Jey Uso.
yeah,
I think it's writing on the wall. I think you have it right there. It's the remember like last year when Tommaso Ciampa came back and was helping the Miz or he hit the Miz and was like, you didn't text me after I was hurt. And
that's right.
It's that
That's
kind
right.
of thing, right? Like while I'm sitting here
callback.
dealing
That's
with
a good
this, like
callback.
you didn't reach out to me. You didn't do nothing. Like you could see me struggling. You see me getting passed out every single week. So yeah, I can perfectly see Sammy as that. And then Sammy would have the angle, I was in the hospital myself. I was almost I almost got broken and battered, like all that type of stuff, right? So I can definitely see that angle, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing else really on that. I think it's going to take whatever the next story beat is for us to get a better sense of what's going on here. But they are leading into something. Y'all should keep an eye on that. Next
Yep.
thing that happens, again, I'm really going to try to fly through these next few things because I want to get to the last thing where I'm going to let you take that last part and you just do your work on that. So real quick, so just Logan Paul, they show a replay of a promo where Logan Paul does an interview after his WrestleMania match with Kathy Kelly, and she's kind of just asking him like, oh well, did you feel like you needed your manager to win? Like kind of like a cheeky little question like that. So he's pissed off during the interview, and he just gives these really standard answers. And he's kind of like bemoaning her. So he's like, is that okay, Kathy Kelly? Is that a good answer, Kathy Kelly? Like he's just being a little B word about it, right? Whatever. They do that to lead into an AJ Styles Kathy Kelly interview where it is actually live and it is him being like, hey AJ, like what do you feel about now that you lost, what are you gonna do next? He just gives a pretty standard like, hey, AJ Styles doesn't get put down and stay down, that kind of thing. Like AJ Styles bounces back. That's what I've always been about. I take it on the chin like a real man and I'll keep moving. But then Karrion Kross comes in pretty quickly and he's like, AJ, what the hell? And that's, Tyler mentioned this earlier, when Karrion comes in, he gets a really loud pop, like yeah. I have not heard Karrion Kross get a pop like this in my entire time watching
Well,
wrestling.
it's because of his non-kayfabe real
Right.
interview that he did about the situation, and we kind of alluded to this, and I don't know if we did it on stream or if I was talking to you about it off stream, where WWE has done a fantastic job at taking talent from other places and boosting them and making them something, giving them basically everything over here.
Yeah.
Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, Penta, Ray Phoenix, all of that. They haven't done much with the talent that they've created made
You did mention
and done all that stuff, right? So it's like Karrion Kross is 100% in the right. Why are you not giving the talent that you've put time in, you've put effort in, you've created, and giving them these spots?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
And Karrion's like his main person that he's calling out here, to be clear, is Logan Paul. He's saying like,
exactly,
this guy's getting all this stuff because he's this big megastar. This is my entire life. Like wrestling is my entire life. This guy just does it for fun, and he's not even here all the time. Now, of course, Logan. The whole thing Logan's been trying to do lately is shed that kind of image, which is fair. But you were right. Karrion does have a massive point. There's a lot of people you can make that case for over the many years WWE has been in business. They're kind of known for that. That's literally, you can make a case that's a big reason AEW even exists right now. That very sentiment we're talking about. So, yeah, it's
90% of the AEW roster is old WWE talent.
Yep, a lot of the best people on AEW right now, like literally, are just people that WWE didn't see the promise in that kind of thing, or they didn't give him the chance.
Oh.
So Karrion basically just to kind of get back to like what was happening in on Raw, like Karrion basically comes in and is like, hey AJ, like what was that? You let us all down. You let me down. blah 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 blah. And AJ's finally just like, look, man, like I don't know what your problem is with me. They're not really like this whole time they're not necessarily enemies, right? Even though they did have a match, AJ's kind of like, look, man, I don't get what your problem is with me. I try my best. Like, you want me to bring back the old AJ Styles. I don't want to be that guy. Because he's basically alluding this, or kind of referencing this idea of, like, you want me to be the heel AJ. I don't want to be the heel AJ. If you want this done, what you're saying, you should do it yourself. So, as in, literally, if you want Logan Paul to get beat up or whatever, you should go do it yourself. And that's it. Kind of, the promo ends with Karrion being like, maybe I will. Maybe I will. And then even Scarlett's like, yeah. So yeah, the two of them have been getting a lot of popularity lately. It's awesome. I do really, and I do like Scarlett a lot. So I'm glad to see that the two of them have maybe found their avenue versus that whole. I mean, it really kills me now to see how much they're being received, because it felt like this is the push they were going to get. What was it, a year and a half ago, and then they just insert that faction, the Authors of Pain or whatever,
AOP, yeah.
AOP, and it's like, man, if they just never did that at all, imagine where Karrion could be right now. But whatever. Cool little thing. Look, I'll just go to the next thing, because that was just a
keep it moving. Just keep it moving.
Very quickly, we saw this because we got to watch on Tyler's Canada stream. We saw that A-Town Down Under came out and did a promo basically saying, like, hey, we're here to just put our names out there to challenge the New Day. Now that Alpha Academy has been knocked out by Rusev, we are now the new number one contenders for the New Day's belts. And the War Raiders come out and are basically like, screw that, dude. Like, we're getting our belts back. Or, the New Day had to run and hide because they had to cheat to beat us. I'll be honest, this whole promo kind of sucked. It was very forgettable. There's a reason they put it on the Canada commercial break. But it still happened, right? It still happened. It's still worthwhile to talk about. And just so y'all know, and you're not surprised when maybe the next tag team match is like a three-way, or what we'll probably see next Monday night on Raw, I would be willing to predict, is that it's, A-Town Down Under versus War Raiders is a number one contenders match for those belts. So, Cool. That was really quick. Nothing of note. Really what matters is that they lead straight from that out of the commercial break into Gunther talking shit to the crowd. So this is still happening during the commercial break for Canada. And of course, it's the same thing, but we're seeing this on the Canadian stream is what I mean. Gunther starts talking shit to the crowd. I have no idea where he comes from. He just comes from the crowd, I guess, to the stage or to the ring to talk. He starts talking BS to the crowd, but then it's pretty quick that he just sets his attention on the announcers, which he's been doing this week to week, which is why I guess they've been building this idea that he's been going after the announcers, because what he does here is Gunther, he's not talking on the mic anymore. He's just talking directly to Pat and Michael Cole. Michael Cole, you do hear very clearly and loudly on the broadcast say, well, Gunther, look, it's not my fault. I'm not the one who tapped. This is like, you hear even the people in the crowd go, oh, like they're like, oh, snap. Like, can't believe Michael Cole said this. And Gunther just sets him off. A switch flipped. Gunther goes right for Michael Cole, like actually aggressively, where this is where Pat McAfee kind of is, where he's like an actual bigger dude. I mean, he did play football. Even if he was a punter, he's still a big dude. He's a big dude, that maybe is how he would say it. But he kind of comes from his spot on the announcer table to kind of like, hey, Gunther, like, hey, man, like, let's not do that. Gunther then he goes from holding Michael Cole to almost actually punching, but like pushing Pat McAfee, who I think he kind of was like a little taken aback by how hard he got pushed, because he was like, whoa, 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 and he fell over the chair, stumbled on the ground. Gunther kind of like regains his composure, kind of goes back after Michael Cole again and makes it seem like he's going to like really mess up Michael Cole. But then that's where Pat McAfee like gets his bearings, stands back tall again, goes right up in front of Gunther. And then this is it. Okay, we're like, me and you are like, what is happening? Like, what exactly is happening right now? Like, I guess this is it, McAfee versus Gunther? Like, I don't understand. No. That is not what's happening. They make it pretty obvious pretty quickly that Gunther makes mincemeat of Pat McAfee, puts him in a chokehold, but like actually holds him in this sleeper hold for like a good couple minutes. And obviously in wrestling, you're assuming he's not putting genuine pressure right on the neck, but I think just because Gunther is a bigger dude and Pat McAfee's like, he's out of shape at this point. He's an older guy himself, right? I think Gunther really did kind of mess him up a little bit. Like, I think he did put a little bit more pressure on his neck than maybe Pat McAfee thought would happen. What ends up happening is they get Gunther off. They get him out of the arena. The whole crowd boos. They say, F you, Gunther, F you, Gunther. the heat on Gunter is back. It's obvious that the point of this was to get rid of the whole like, oh well, Gunter's a baby now because he got sleeper held by Jay.
Yep.
They run this for him to immediately take that off of Gunter and put right back the label of like, oh no, he's a bully, he's a bad
Yep.
dude. Maybe we do see him a little weaker now, but he's still a bad dude.
The big bad Gunther.
The
And
only
if
thing,
anything, this
yeah.
loss made him even worse.
Yeah, so now it's now maybe what yeah exactly like they're seemingly going down this road of like, oh no, now he's more unhinged. He doesn't have Imperium around him anymore to like, I guess, keep him straight if that was ever even a thing. Now he's just like, no, I'm a maniac now and you all are pissing me off. And it's like the only thing of note to say left with this is that Pat McAfee took like a good, Jesus, like 5 to 10 minutes on
Yeah, that was
camera
wild.
to
That was
walk
wild.
back and just be off camera, where they concluded with Adam Pearce telling Michael Cole, like, hey, you take the night off, Joe Tessitore will take over announcing. And Michael Cole's like, no, I'm not going to let a bully, like, take me away from doing my damn job. And the crowd's like, yeah, Michael Cole, Michael Cole, Michael Cole. And he goes back to the announcer's table and finishes out the night. That was that promo. Literally, that was it. That was the end of the promo. Nothing else that we really got from it. That was it. So it was pretty wild. Just a big thing. I think at the end of the day, like I just said, the point is to get Gunter back to a real heel position and not be this kind of like weak perceived guy that we forget. Me and you predicted they would have him leave for a month. They did the complete opposite and we're like, no,
Yeah, they just were
let's just
like,
have
come
him
on,
commit
dude.
a crime for a night. So that's all I have on that. Do you have anything really to
Yep.
add?
No, you're rocking and rolling right now, my friend.
Cool. Again, a lot of promos in this one, right? So a lot of promos to just set the stage for what's coming up. So that's why I'm just trying to get into detail for y'all to like, so y'all know what's going on here.
Yep.
This next thing is a match. This is a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship, but not for Braun Breaker, for Penta. So it is Dom Mysterio versus Penta with the Judgment Day at Dominic Mysterio's side for the Intercontinental Championship match. Result being Dominic Mysterio wins the match. So how we got there, I actually wasn't like a massive fan of this match, and just I thought it was just okay, like just a regular match. I don't think either of them went above and beyond as far as making it like super exciting, but which is fine. Maybe these are two guys that just need more time together. I think maybe they could be cool. They have similar wrestling styles, right? Like they're two taller luchadors, kind of like Dom and Penta. But the match itself was all right. The thing that mattered more was just how it ended, right? So it was interference from the Judgment Day, but it wasn't just like Carlito or whatever. We get another return. JD McDonough comes back from injury, Mr. Bobblehead, and he comes back, and he is the reason that Penta loses. Penta is about to like hit a finisher or whatever. He's about to hit a splash of some kind off the rope. JD comes in and pushes him off, so now he's all stumbled. He's kind of like groggy or whatever, if you want to call it that,
Yep.
which allows Dom to kick him into the ropes. 619 takes the move from his dad. 1-2-3 wins the match. So what matters here is that JD's back. They're kind of celebrating at the top of the ramp. Liv and Raquel run out, so now it's this big Judgment Day celebration at Raw after Mania. The thing is, Finn is kind of like there. He's slowly approaching the group from the ring because he was there to help Dom, and it's kind of awkward because it's like, okay, now JD's back, and JD's almost like taking Finn's spot. JD has no issue being the guy that has no belt. So now Finn is like awkwardly on the outside of the group, and it takes one of them like grabbing Finn and pulling him in and being like, come on, buddy, like, come on in, family. And Finn's kind of like, okay, I guess. And it is really awkward. They end with them all together, but I do think it's fairly obvious that it is like Finn's not going to be a part of this group much longer. Whether that's a straight up betrayal or him of just announcing it, or I'm almost willing to say that in Judgment Day fashion, it'll be them just betraying Finn. Like we all think it's going to be Finn betraying them, but it'll actually be that Finn has a match and they are truly the heels, so that they betray him, and it's like that's what'll actually get us to feel bad for Finn and turn him back into a face, I think. But that was that segment. You have anything to kind of say about the match or how the promo itself, the segment went? Like what anything about that one?
No. I think no, the match was good. It was just kind of a normal match. Unfortunately, Dom is not the best wrestler.
Yeah.
I wish he would get rid of the 619 and just stick with the Three Amigos and the Frog Splash as his two like signature and finisher.
I like the Frog Splash. I like the idea that that's his.
He does it good. He does it good. He's big,
really
long, lengthy. He gets high. Like I think he does that fine. And then he can just do the Three Amigos, and that's it. You don't have to do the 619. He just looks awkward and clinky. But I'm not going to be too technical about it, but
All
yeah.
right.
So it was a good match. Penta got his rematch. I kind of think a little bit different. I think that because people want to cheer for Dom, people want to cheer, I think, for Liv. Um, I think it's going to be like Finn is going to do something, and then they're going to be like, you know, just lock you out of the room. We don't want you here. Like you're against our values. You're against like what we want. Like you're just a cancer to us and our little posse that we have here. So just get out. And that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how I think it's going to happen.
Okay.
But we can, yeah, we can move on to
All right, we're
my
at the
favorite
last
part
part of
of
the
the
night.
night.
So do you want to do the honors of describing what happened here, if you
I
got it?
can, I can take it
All
away.
right, all
I
right.
can take it away. So
Main event.
the main event, that's not a match.
No.
It's Seth Rollins comes out, and just as I predicted, just as we predicted, because you said the same thing, uh, they're still singing Seth's song. They're still going with it. Seth is still,
These were cheers, not boos. These were cheers.
these are cheers. I don't know if it's the crowd. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna whatever. Cool. I know that I've said some things about one crowd like reacting a different way. Anyway, but still, they were still cheering him. They were still singing his song. Paul Heyman follows in right behind him, and there's instant "F you Heyman," "F you Heyman," like those type of chants.
Yeah.
So they get to the ring. They start talking. Blah blah blah. CM Punk comes out. CM Punk runs out, and basically Seth handles CM Punk like he's yesterday's leftovers. CM Punk really didn't do anything. He kind of came in and was just like, "Yep, nope, all right." Uh, let me go back a little bit. Paul Heyman is talking like Seth is the new this, Seth is the new that, whatever. And then he also mentions that there's a new Paul Heyman guy. He mentioned something about a new Paul Heyman guy. Then CM Punk comes out. Seth uh, handles him. They do whatever. Uh, then Roman Reigns comes out. All, back and
Mad.
forth, punching, kicking. Yeah, mad, pissed off. Uh, Comes in and spears Seth. And then he goes and runs and Superman punches Paul Heyman. No, right? No. Does he Superman punch Paul Heyman? I thought he did.
No, I think it's I thought he
I thought he
Superman
Superman punched
punched
him.
Seth.
Maybe I'm thinking of something in like WrestleMania, whatever. Anyway, I know that he spears Seth. I know that he spears Seth,
Yeah.
and he's going to try and spear Paul Heyman or
Yeah.
Superman punch Paul Heyman, something like that. And as he's doing his ooh wah, he comes down, he starts running, and gets hit by a freight train. A masked or not a masked, a hooded man that no one knows who he is until he takes off his hood. Who can it? Who else? Who else can it be? Who else can it be?
There's only one. I mean, if you
Mister
listen to this show,
Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker comes out and spears Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul
yes,
Heyman are forming a new legacy. Not legacy. I'm
something,
so sorry.
some
New.
like
Oh my gosh! It's Randy Orton, Ric Flair.
evolution.
I'm losing it. Yeah, evolution. They're forming a new evolution, is what I've been seeing on online and Twitter and stuff like that. We just got to figure out like Braun Breaker's the Batista, Seth Rollins is the Triple H, Paul Heyman is the Ric Flair. So we got to find out who's going to be
Randy
Randy Orton.
Orton.
We got to see
Yeah,
who's going to be. I've seen a bunch of stuff saying it's going to be Carmelo Hayes. I've
Carmelo
seen a bunch of
Hayes.
stuff saying it's going to be Austin Theory because he's really got nothing else to do right now. He is in a tag team.
Could be
Whatever, we'll
Logan
figure it
Paul.
out. Could be Logan Paul. It was we were again streaming. We were looking at it. I am screaming at the top of my lungs because
Tyler was losing his mind.
my two favorite wrestlers in WWE right now, are the focal point of the WWE, and I am over the moon. I am over the moon. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, they're hugging each other at the end of this. 10 out of 10, 1 million, better than WrestleMania 41. I'm so ready for this year. I'm so ready to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, I mean, what else is there to say? So just to be clear, if you're adding up everything the show had to say before Monday Night Raw, what you had is Tyler predict exactly what happened in the match. So that's Seth Rollins winning because Paul Heyman betrays them. I guess we were technically liking the idea that Paul might not pick anybody, but you did say Seth would win. And I think
Yep.
you originally did say it would be because Paul picks him. But we just said maybe what happens is Paul Heyman doesn't choose anyone. And that,
Yeah.
of course, led us to organically on the spot. This was not something I had in a show sheet or anything. I then go, well, maybe it could be, Brock Lesnar that ends up coming out. And we go, I don't know, it'll be Brock Lesnar. That's kind of far fetched. I go, whoa, hold on. Well, what about the new Brock Lesnar? Because and there's a reason for this. And we go, well, Braun Breaker? And I go, yeah, Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, Braun Breaker comes out and it's him and Paul Heyman. And you realize in that moment, oh, well, wait, hold on, because they had it, and this is for the real ones, right? This is why you listen to the show, because we do the work for y'all. I remember
The
this,
date
right?
was October of 2023 that he
It
went back
was
and
it
seen him
was
in NXT.
2 years ago that we had a little segment, just a little one, and me and you watched this. This was 2023, but we watched it, where you did have a show where Paul Heyman comes on to NXT and he just tells Braun Breaker he's very much a part of the bloodline right now. And they let him do the scene where he just tells Braun Breaker like, hey, I think you might be the next big thing, kid, like that kind of thing. And Braun Breaker's like, I really appreciate that, Paul Heyman, like whatever. And now here we are. The storytelling has unfolded.
Oh,
We said
dude.
this on our show, the prediction show, or the show leading up into it, and it is almost exactly how it unfolded. It was even better than we imagined. I almost want to say that we would have guessed it, but we would have thought, no, that's too fantasy booky for that. That's too much of what me
Yeah.
and you would want to see, especially yourself. You would have been like, this is something I would do in my WWE 2K my GM. Like
Oh,
this is something I
dude,
would
it
do
is
myself. And of
fantastic.
course, this is literally what they did. And if they go and get Carmelo, that would be absolutely nuts. I'm wondering. I'm not sure if it'll be Carmelo because I think they want to try to make the mellow. Then I don't know. I actually don't know, but I think you're right that it does need to be someone. There is a third member that's coming. We're not exactly sure who it'll be, but I don't think it'll just stay two. It's just you might as
Well, this was
well.
kind of going back to my thing about the women Nexus or the women's Shield. They're just revisiting old storylines and making new things. So with this is the new day version of Evolution.
Yeah,
And yes, I think like Braun Breaker's been in for a while now. I say a while. He's been on the main roster for a little bit over a year. And then you got the long tenured guy who's been in the WWE for 10 plus years now in Triple H
like the
slash
true
Seth
leader of the
Rollins. You
group.
got
Yeah,
Batista slash Braun Breaker. So we just need to find who that person is that's going to fill that Randy spot. I do like the theories of it being Austin Theory. Um,
that would make a lot
you
more
know, we
sense to me.
can we can obviously go through the whole entire roster and kind of see uh,
Yeah,
who it could be. Um, yeah, and just go. But I am in love with this storyline. I'm going to be
it's
so invested.
it's
Because
really cool. Let's be honest. It's
for me,
really
for
cool.
me specifically, I've loved Braun Breaker ever since I got back in the WWE. I just always thought he had a amazing move set. I obviously I'm a football guy. He played football. That's
Yeah,
kind of how I related to him a little bit. His spears are one of the most electric things in the WWE. Just watching his matches are so fun. We came in at a time where in NXT, we were just trying to grasp everything. We were trying to watch Raw, SmackDown, and
yeah,
NXT, and all the PLEs that were coming out. In NXT at the time, he was facing Carmelo Hayes. That's our first. That's yours and I first.
I remember.
Like
I remember.
introduction to this new age
Yeah.
WWE, and
As well,
dude,
and Ilya was usually involved in those as well.
yeah, and Ilya was there too.
Oh
What if?
shit! Oh shit! It could be Ilya. Ilya returns to
Oh,
be the third member. Is that what you're getting at? Ilya comes
yeah.
back to be the third member. Oh shit! I didn't even think about Ilya. Oh fuck! That would
Oh
be nuts. That would
my
be nuts.
God.
That would be
Okay.
crazy.
All
Yeah,
right.
I completely forgot about Ilya. Or either Ilya needs to come back and do something. Something. I mean, he has to
Yeah,
be
you're
coming
right.
back soon because that
Right.
he's still, even now, he's still one of the better young dudes on the roster. But don't like, because don't forget, like, all these guys that we're talking about, these young dudes, they came out last year. We need that new batch that's coming here in the next couple months. So I really do think we got to start thinking about, like, from NXT, who could be a guy that comes up and takes that spot. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Hey,
But
oh, I also saw that it could be, and I could see this wholeheartedly. It could be Ethan Page. He's the newcomer. He's like, it could
ooh,
definitely be Ethan Page.
that's probably the best one. That's probably the best one as far as an
Yeah,
NXT
like
guy. I'm not gonna
he's
lie to you.
experienced enough in wrestling, like at all. But I mean, he's experienced enough in wrestling in its entirety that he could enter the main roster and be somewhat ready for those type of situations. Yeah, not to speak much, whatever. But yeah, I think it could be someone like him.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool. That would be a perfect way to
But
move him from NXT to the main roster as well. But we could theorize about that all day.
yeah, yeah. This is it has been a pretty lengthy episode. I think we're almost hitting the
Yeah,
2 hour mark now. But that's the end
that's
of
the
our
Raw.
WrestleMania season.
Raw
That's
after
it. It's
WrestleMania.
Raw
That's WrestleMania
WrestleMania.
season. Yeah,
Um, Obviously, the episodes will probably be a little bit shorter going forward because there's not going to be as much to talk about. We're also going to keep it a still a fluent schedule with Tuesdays and Saturdays. One
yeah,
right after Raw, one right after SmackDown, and then possibly Sundays with any PLEs that are happening or anything like that. I think we get Backlash St. Louis here in the next like 2 3 weeks now,
yeah. In a couple weeks,
something like that.
so y'all will get a longer episode for that. Obviously, when that comes for that, I guess we would end up doing that show on Sunday. Yeah. Well, no, I guess that's when
Yeah.
we'll start doing three shows, right? We probably won't normally do a
Yeah,
combined
yeah,
show.
that would just
Yeah,
be the
yeah,
yeah. So yeah, we will. I think yeah, I think we're good.
yeah. So I'll just say this, again, like this one was being live streamed. Didn't get too many people in here tonight, but that's totally fine. I'll say this, like, going forward, what we'll probably do for y'all is, like, I know Tyler tried to have it set up here for tonight. We didn't quite get it in time for tonight, but maybe by the next one you'll have it all ready to go for your stream. Me and Tyler will
Yeah, yeah.
probably go ahead
There
and
should be by the next stream. There should be two
I,
streams going on mine
yeah,
and yours.
I don't see why we can't start like what we're doing right here now, just me and you kind of talking on the screen. Because me and you both have dual monitors. I don't see why we going forward we won't start doing a Twitch stream where we're doing something like this, but it's not really structured. We'll just be watching Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, or of course
Yeah,
the pay-per-views that come as well, and y'all can watch along, while you're watching and see what our reactions are. And if you want to chat something, or if you want to see what other people are chatting, like, come on in. It'll be a fun little thing for us all to do. Yeah, I don't have anything else. You got anything for the
no,
people?
no. Let's hope and pray for another fantastic wrestling season. I think it's from Mania to
Yes,
Mania. So let's hope and pray
yes,
for another wrestling season, and let's see what here's to come.
yeah. We'll see what happens. Look out for this episode to be on YouTube here shortly, episode 3, and come on by Saturday for episode 4. Hope to see y'all there. Have a good one, y'all. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace out.